Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Lighting Your Sunshine, where we like to shine a light within and empower ourselves. So for today's insight slash download, I actually have one. So I was going through my phone this morning and I was just like cleaning up. You know how you accidentally like screenshot so many things? So I was like, damn, what are all these pictures? So I was going through and deleting all of the unnecessary ones. But I came across this screenshot on my phone from July 13th. I don't know if these numbers mean anything, but we'll say it. So July 13th at 4:14. So I feel like there's a synchronicity in the 4:14, maybe 13. But I was listening to a song and it like screenshotted that song. And as I stared at this number for a bit, I was like, I can't delete this yet. I feel like that this is a message. And so I went to my Spotify, opened it up, started looking up. The song was called, oh man, I don't actually even know. I feel like it's called Star. That's all it's called. But it's like, did you know that there's a guiding star? Let's just see, just don't. Because now I just really want to know. Yeah, it's just called Star, simply Star. And so I'm going to link it down below because I really do feel like there's insights from that song. I love that song. I love Joan. But yeah, so in it, it's all about like following your own guidance, your own intuition. Later on, it kind of like talks about having disagreements with people. But what I thought was very interesting is when I actually went to go look up the song, because it's called Star, I put STAR. And as I did that, you know how a list of everything that kind of has similar names comes up? Well, there was a song called Start a War by Margot. And I just also felt that was all, I don't know, Spirit was just pointing at them. It's like in a list of everything, it glowed. It was glue. And so I don't know how to kind of tell you how I got the insight, but it's just a feeling or a knowing, which could kind of be like claircognizance, which is the hardest skill to trust, because you can go back on clairvoyance and see what you saw to get to where you want. But claircognizance is just like, boom, download. You just know. So I think that's how I saw it, because it just stood out, but I can't tell you why it stood out. So there's these two songs. There's Joss Stone with Star, learning to follow your own higher self, your own intuition, your own guidance. And then as I went to go listen to the Margot one called Start a War, the lyrics that popped out was talking about Joan of Arc. And so once I saw the name Joan of Arc, I got mad freaking chills. My whole body was just like, because the last couple days / weeks, Joan of Arc stuff has kind of been popping up. But it's confusing because I feel like I really don't know anything about Joan of Arc. It's not even someone that I think maybe like in elementary or like junior high even, maybe you learned like briefly in history class, but I think that's like the most of my Joan of Arc knowledge. And so she came in like really strong. And it's interesting because I'm seeing that she's been the energy kind of in the background for a couple of the readings in the last couple weeks. And so how did this all start off? Oh yeah, so Joan of Arc. So then I started doing a little bit of research on Joan of Arc. And I was like, I feel like I'm not qualified to even speak about this. As I said, I don't know anything about Joan of Arc. But I was like, you know what? I've got a ridiculously smart collective that whatever it is that I'm missing, I know like maybe you guys have the puzzle piece that can kind of add into this aha and insights. And so I just watched like a quick 15-minute video to kind of like brush up a little bit of it so I don't sound as silly talking about what I don't know about. But I feel like that's also what intuition, and especially the Joss Stone song Star, was about. Like, even if you don't know, like you have to follow that urge or that higher self, which is what Joan of Arc did. I know I'm saying it in like the English way. I don't really say it in the French way, but let's just go with it. So I started doing research on her. Okay, back in the Margot song, Let's Start a War. There's like this one part, and it's like, dance with the devil in Rome, which I found very interesting, because I felt like Rome. I saw the word Rome kind of glow, and I was like, I don't know how any of this fits. Because when I think of Joan of Arc, it's England and France. What does Rome have to do with any of this? And it doesn't, because it's a different way. I started doing like a little backstory on her, like who's who, right? Who's her mom? Well, her mom's name was Isabel Rome. So she was a peasant. She grew up very poor to a mom named Isabel Rome. There's that Rome connection. And her father was Jacques d'Arc. And so the dark, it's like D''ARK, which to me is like dark could be the devil. So it's like Dance with the Devil in Rome. I just felt like those two parents in that song right after the words Joan of Arc. I don't even know what that song's about, to be honest. It's just a catchy song. But I thought, wow, it's like those two names are in that one sentence. And that's the one sentence. Like it kept playing and I wrote it down, but I didn't know how the connection in this spirit telling story came out. But I see now that Rome is the mom and the devil is not the dad, but the dark, right? Everyone, the light and the dark. So I thought that was really cool. And then in that moment, a lot of other energies kind of came through. I had Mary Magdalene energy come in, and then I had Mother Mary energy come in. And they didn't really give much insights, but they were just like there for support. And so, let's just see. I just wrote down some like really quick notes. But, so yeah, Joan of Arc, she was like a peasant, and she kind of had these visions. And it was actually kind of hard to find a lot of facts on her, because I found that everything that I kind of read contradicted itself. And some stories, it seemed like she was burned at the stake. And then in other ones, it said like she had 3 kids and lived with the court. And I don't know, I feel more drawn to the stake one. I don't know if there's another Joan that kind of got mixed up in this. But maybe that's collective knowledge. But so yeah, the English were overtaking France, and there was this prophecy. Merlin said the prophecy that France will be lost by a woman, but saved from a virgin from the borders of Lorraine. And so in that prophecy, the first woman that France was lost from was Queen Isabel. And then later in life, on the farm, Joan started having visions. She said she saw Archangel Michael come with a whole bunch of other saints. And these saints were young teenage girls that were martyred based on their faith and beliefs. And so from that's kind of when she like stepped into her calling. Because to her, the message that they said was they told her to seek the Dauphin and like free the French. And I had a whoa moment, because in the last couple readings, dolphin energy has been coming through, but it never quite gave its message. And so in those dolphin readings, that's the ones where Joan of Arc is kind of, that energy of her has been kind of like coming in and just like holding space. She's been kind of holding space for like a lot of these. And so, yeah, what did she do? The Dauphin was like King Charles VII or something like that. And they were like, oh, you're just like a silly peasant girl. Like, you have no knowledge. You have no insights. Like, why would we even trust or listen to you? And so that's what I'm feeling like, is like your guidance, right? You, especially in the Joss Stone song, you are connected to this higher self. You have a star guiding you. You're made of stardust. You're magical. You're freaking awesome. And you know things, and you can do things, and it's just because you're worthy and you're just a magical badass being. And so, yeah, that's what I'm kind of seeing. So she was told, help free France from the English, right? And so in that, it started the 100-Year War. And in the Margot song, it's like, I never wanted to start a war. It says that over and over and over again. But when it comes up to standing up for yourself, sometimes you do have to cause a little bit of conflict or ruffle a little feathers, we'll say. So to do the actual cards today, that's kind of like the insights that I got. It's like somehow these two songs mashed together. and all these things. And I was just like, all right, so which cards do you want to use? And as I said, Mother Mary kind of came in and she didn't say much. And then we also had Divine Feminine energy come in. So we got Mother Mary Oracle, Divine Feminine Oracle, and then I want to use the Citadel cards just because I really like how they fit in my hands, because they're like these little hexagon kind of ones. I don't know, they feel, I feel like more cards should be like this. They're so easy to grab. Whatever, let's shake them up and see the story that wants to come out now that we've kind of shared the little download I had. Because I feel like you're getting, something's happening, visions are happening. It might cause a little bit of discomfort for people around you, but it's like you're being gifted divine guidance. Prophecy. The prophecy. All right, Mother Mary, what you want to say? She's kind of bringing to how this vision, like it's been kind of playing out in the background a couple days. But something to do with France. And it's interesting that the Olympics are there right now. That's not part of, I don't know, that's just what I saw when I said, what do you want to say? So what do we got? The first one is in reverse, and it is blessings. Today I count my blessings, small and large, and I notice the new gifts that come to me from God. So these blessings are in reverse. And I feel like that it's in reverse because somebody taking disadvantage, right? And that first one was like the English trying to steal the French land, something like that. And so, yeah, whatever this is, it's like you know that you deserve these blessings, and for some reason you're not receiving them. The next one is integrity. It says, I trust my ability to know what is true for me. So I'm seeing someone kind of come and take these blessings. Maybe an event or situation happened that's rude. You're a rude dude. And they don't really have integrity, right? It's just a sense of superiority. Like I'm owed this. I deserve this because of no real reason. And I see you being using integrity with the things that you want. I'm seeing that meme or that picture, but I can't remember the words. It's like equity, or it's not equanimous, but it's the one where it's like, you know how if you give everyone equal shares, and it's like in some cases giving, and it's like people, there's this fence is blocking them, but on the other side of the fence there's like this show going on, and so they give them all these crates, and there's like a short, medium, and tall one. Well, the tall guy doesn't need as many crates to see as the short guy, and so it would be better suited to give the shorter person 3 crates and the taller one, and like 2 in the middle, rather than like equal. And that's what I'm seeing with this blessings, is like I see someone being a hoarder, like I like taxes. I see, to the king, going to the poor peasants and like shaking them for everything that they have. But I see for you, it's like using your mind in a situation that benefits everybody. How can everybody thrive to the best of their capabilities and live peaceful and harmoniously together? And so the next one to come out, self-respect in reverse. It says, I honor and love myself through my helpful actions. Well, I feel like with the blessings being reversed in someone, I feel like it's hard for you. Okay, it's not hard for you to keep self-respect for you when you have your integrity, but I feel like someone else outside of you keeps disrespecting you. And the more and more that you keep letting them disrespect you, is now you not showing self-respect, right? You have to stand up to that person sometimes, and I guess standing up to that person would cause a war. And I never meant to start a war, but I had to stand up for myself because people were being harmed and hurt, and I knew that it was the right thing to do. I had trust and belief and visions. Okay, these ones just feel this divine energy isn't as like, when I think of divine feminine energy, I think of like the nurturing aspect of it, right? And it's funny because the only card that did come out was Kuan Yin, which is that nurturing, loving, unconditional, but it was in reverse. And so that's what I'm getting, is like more of this Joan of Arc being like, I'm not educated, but I have direction and I have insights and I have prophecy. And so when Joan went to the dolphin, he even like hit on her, and she found him in the crowd and was like, what was the one prophecy? She said that the French, they had this like fight that they were going to go do, that they were going to be defeated. And they're like, no, that's not going to happen. And so once they all went there and they were defeated very quickly because the English were hiding around the corner, they realized that she kind of knew what was going on. And you know what this energy also gives me? It's almost like the energy of, I want to say, Harriet Tubman. How she wanted to, it's mostly like wanting to like free your people, right? Joan wanted to help France. Harriet Tubman wanted to help Black people free themselves from the Underground Railroad. That it's more like they both didn't, I don't know, they both had visions. They both had insights that kind of guided them in dangerous situations, right? So that's the type of feminine energy that I'm picking up. And so this Kuan Yin, goddess of compassion, in reverse, is saying, I recognize suffering in order to release it. Curiosity breeds compassion. So I feel like whatever in this story, there has been a lot of suffering, and it's time to transmute that. It's time to stand up and let's see about this curiosity. I want to know about the curiosity. Okay, so this one kind of fell underneath the self-respect. So the curiosity is like, I see you looking around at things and being like, well, why don't we try this? Well, what about this? Like, this person needs this. If we took this, did this, flipped it over, did this over here, then everyone would benefit. That's what I see, like the curiosity. Like, there must be something better than this. And this normal is not normal, right? There's no blessings. The blessings are in reverse. So how can we make it so that everybody kind of has a good foundation? 2 and you want to know what? Sometimes when I like before I start, I just pick up. I was like, what's a message for me? Boom, and I'll like look at it, and I got quiet in reverse. So it's like, share your message. But I did that with these divine feminine cards as well, and I actually got this one for myself, and it came out again. So what does it say? It says, it says Thecla, Thelcla, the prophetess of true power. So prophet, it's like prophecies. It's like getting these visions, and that's that claircognizance. It's like you just know things. It's almost like mother's intuition, or whatever you want to call it. And this one says, I call my power back from all times, all places. I am my own. So I keep seeing, like, in the Joan of Arc situation, the English people kind of coming and being like, hey, you're now part of our governing command. And Joan's like, hell no, I'm not. I do feel called just to read about who this is, because I'm not familiar. And I'm noticing now this is not an alphabetical book, so let me go back to the table of contents. And as I do that, 44. Hey! It's on page 44. I feel like that's a synchronicity because it started on, as the reading said, page 414. No, the time was 414. 44 now. 444 is very important to this channel. All right, who is she? Thelka represents the ability to call back all our power. The Acts of Paul and Thelka dates back to the 2nd century. Through some scholars believed its Greek composition could be from as early as 70 before Christ. It relates to young women's It relates to a young woman's call to a life of teaching and healing in the Christ movement in Asia Minor, current-day Turkey. Thelka, daughter of Theolesia, at age 17 was also an important age for Joan of Arc when I was looking at it, and I can't remember. I think that, yeah. Anyways, at age 17, she overhears Paul teaching about Christ. She stays rooted in place at her window for 3 days so she won't miss a word. Her mother had arranged for her to be married, so when Thelka felt called to begin her own ministry, she is sentenced to burn for refusing to be a bride. Joan of Arc was also burned at the stake. Just as the flames are surrounding her, though, she makes the sign of a cross and a huge storm puts the fire out. Dang. She finds Paul, cuts her hair short, and tells him, "Only give me the real seal of Christ, and no trial will touch me." He suggests that she isn't ready for her baptism yet. Shortly, I feel like the storm that put the fire out already did that baptism for her. So, he suggests that she isn't ready for baptism yet. Shortly after, a president of the Council of Syria tries to take Thelka into the streets to be his bride. She tears off his cloak and takes the crown from his head and publicly shames him for trying to take her without consent. She is then sentenced to death by wild beasts. Damn, girl. In the arena, all the women protest judgment of Thelka, proclaiming her innocence. A huge lioness enters the arena, approaches Thelka, and licks her feet and bows before her. Thelka enters the pool in the main arena that is filled with wild sea lions. The women fear she will be killed, but she declares, "In the name of Jesus Christ, I baptize myself." Suddenly, she is shielded and protected by a great ring of fire, and a glowing white robe suddenly appears on her body. Paul tells her, "Go and teach the word of God." It is recorded in the Acts of Paul and Thelka that she lived until 90 and enlightened many. Her ministry proves the existence of female authority in early Christian church. That's really cool. All right. So here she is, the prophetess of true power. And then that one landed right under integrity. And so I trust my ability to know what's true for me. And this one says, true power. What is true for me is to be a sovereign divine being, that I have control over my life, that you have control over your life. Nobody is, it's almost like your current circumstances don't define you. As she said, this one was supposed to be married off, and she said, "No, I'd rather choose a life of faith." Whereas Joan was just supposed to be a peasant farmer, and she's like, "Well, no, I'm gonna lead great battles." There's so much to you. Don't let your lack of knowledge and education and your beginnings stop and confine you from what your true power is. I often find that we'll say God hides the light workers, the ones who are really there for like the great change, in the most hidden, less ideal places. And so they're kind of like overlooked. And you do have so many trials that is all about self-confidence, which has to come with this self-respect. This self-respect is learning to trust in your integrity and stepping into your power. So there's so many people that are going to doubt you along the way, and let them. But don't let it stop you. Don't start doubting yourself, right? So then to go with the blessings, we've got the Takini card, the enlightened feminine. My gut instinct is wise beyond reason. I trust my intuition to guide me. Which is, today my blessings are small and large, and I notice new gifts that come to me from God. Guards! That's what I'm hearing for some reason. Okay, with the blessings in reverse, I'm seeing it as, I'm hearing humble beginnings. Again, I'm seeing the peasant farmer, whatever. And I'm seeing people be like, well, yes. I was like, there's a Joan of Arc one in here somewhere. I'm going to flip through this. And she was just like right under the surface, just waiting there. Hey, look, there she is. I knew she was in there. What was I just saying? I got distracted by that. Blessings with this gut instinct. Oh yeah, humble beginnings. And it's saying like, trust your power. That's the main message of all of this. My gut instinct is wise beyond reason, and I trust my intuition to guide me. I call back my power at all times. I feel like most of this, especially when it comes to feminine energy, they're like, oh, you're just a girl. Like, how are you supposed to fight? Like, how are you going to stand up for something? And what I'm not getting, oh yeah, I already answered it. I was like, what's up with this curiosity? But that curiosity was you looking around. It's just taking inventory of everything around you and being like, what about this? What about this? Stay curious. There's so much to life that, whoop, I broke my light. That's okay. I was like, it kept blinding me and I didn't like it. So, okay. Anyways, so I felt really called to like go within and find the Joan of Arc one. And so what's it saying? I have a steel-like faith in myself. The angels armor me with conviction. So just let me look into this and see if there's... So when I went into the card, the main thing was, you see how she's holding her sword, like down here? I saw her, it kind of like it was an animated card. I saw her like take her sword and like hold it up to like the light. And I saw the light up here, almost like bless it. And then I saw almost like all that radiance. And it's like this knife, fights for truth. Something to do with truth. Something to do with truth and integrity. Oh, and we forgot about the Citadel cards. So maybe that's why I'm like, I just feel like there's something missing, but it's the Citadel cards. All right. One and two and three. Okay, so the first one, and they're all in reverse. We got the Botanist with parenthood and legacy. We've got the Merchant with self-worth and trade. Self-worth, self-respect. I thought that was interesting. And what else I think is interesting is how much red is on these cards, as well as how red each one of these feminine cards are. And then last but not least, we've got the Sentinel with determination and certainty. So let me just quickly see if there's anything new insights that are coming through on this. Hey, you know what? The Joan of Arc one was hiding behind here, and as I looked at it, this one was very red, and I feel like I'm really supposed to read this one too. So it says, Mira Bai, the saint of true freedom. Oh, truth, true, the sword, truth. Truth is so important in this, and truth is subjective, but when it comes from source and it's guided, I feel like in that case where it talked about like Joan of Arc, it's like she had to go fight for her country. It's a weird thing. The truth, like the sword can cut, and I see lots of red. So it could be like blood or something, but yeah. True. I feel like, especially with those blessings in reverse, I do feel like that there is someone trying to control and harm others, and in it, because they don't have the integrity and they don't respect you, and so you're suffering, and your gut instinct is to stand up for all of this, and you're a warrior of light, just like the Joan of Arc. And so from parenthood and legacy, it doesn't matter how you grew up, doesn't matter who your parents were, you have this power within you to find balance. The Merchant was all about self-worth and trade. just because you grew up very poor doesn't mean, I'm almost seeing someone, you ever see that thing like where they trade a paper clip for like a pencil and then a pencil for a pen, and then it just kind of gets a bigger, and the next thing they say like, you got a car or a house, right? You trade a car for a house. Like it's just like upgrading each time is what I see. And so like in the merchant, it's like, don't let your humble beginnings stop you from your determination and certainty. The sentinel. So this one says, love is what will set me free. I am married to my own soul. Especially in this one, the Thelka one, they kept trying to like marry her and tell her like, you're just going to be a wife, you little baby maker. And she's like, no, like I choose faith. I have a higher calling. And yeah, so the main thing that I see out of all of these is like you own your own soul, and your soul is guided by a shining star. And this star has wisdom for you. It's almost pulling you exactly at the right place at the right time to be with the right people, to stand up for things that are unjust. And it's uncomfortable in those moments. But a lot of the time we see the feminine as weak, but I keep seeing the feminine as wicked strong and fierce. There wasn't quite energy of like the Morgan, Sekhmet, those kind of like, it wasn't that kind of dark feminine energy coming through. As this one said, this one is Joan of Arc, the warrior of light. And with Kuan Yin, right? She's the most compassionate, kind, loving, and peaceful. But it did come out in reverse. It says, I recognize suffering in order to release it. Curiosity breeds compassion. I feel like there's just something I'm missing on that we could almost wrap this all up on. They showed it as like, I saw a problem. I almost saw like two people, two things not thinking the same way, two different beliefs, which is all about the Star Song. It talks about different beliefs and how it doesn't matter if I don't agree with you. But that's what I saw. I saw two people fighting and not getting along, not believing together. And it's like you just being a little bit naive and thinking because you have that integrity and that self-respect, and you'll be like, well, I understand where they're coming from, right? And you think that they'll try to see you and understand your point of view. But in this situation, it's not, because there's a person, it's like one party feels entitled. One party wants to just take because they feel that it's deserved, right? It's like, I go to all the poor villages and I make them pay and give me everything that they grew for the year in the form of taxes. Even nowadays, like you get taxed on tax to get taxed again to, I don't know, it's tax on tax on tax. And that's your hard-earned money. And so the real thing, when being drawn to this merchant card, it was all about self-worth. Maybe you're getting taxed, maybe you're doing all these things, and maybe it's unfair, but it doesn't trade. Don't let someone disrespect you. And I keep seeing someone think, well, they'll see my point of view, I see their point of view, and that's gonna like be peaceful, and not prepare for what's to come, because I feel like they're gonna take no matter what, because that's just their mentality. So I saw like defenses and like being that strong feminine power. And I see just being prepared. And so when I see that them coming and you kind of stopping it, because you already had that divine guidance, your star and your higher self and everything, and Mother Mary and Joan of Arc, and like who is Joan of Arc talking to? Archangel Michael, and the people who kind of had the same role coming to them and like guiding them and sharing their wisdom. It's interesting because I feel like it's tough for the divine feminine to be powerful, but there's been so many that have come before you that have gone against the grain. And it's like all those energies in spirit are like there for you, because this self-respect card. I honor and love myself through my helpful actions. What you're doing is trying to find something, integrity, blessings that help everybody. You want to find this equal balance. And I think in yesterday's reading, it talked about it was like about peaches and pears. And then I shared a song because I kept saying like apples and oranges. And then I shared a song that had like poison apples in it. But in this one, I'm hearing apples to apples. It should be fair. If I give an apple, I want the energy of an apple in return, that kind of thing. So what am I seeing? You're being guided to stand up, not to be cruel or mean, because the main thing in this is truth. Truth is the spark, is the power. I see so many feminine, powerful energies coming in and just holding space as whatever it is that helps you stand up for yourself. They're saying, don't be naive that, because I see men be like, let the men do the talking and we'll figure it out. But it's almost like believing that the other party will see your point of view, because they won't. They can't. They don't think that way. All they think of is, how can I get more from this apple and squeeze all the juice out of it? And when there's nothing left, like that's what they'll share. So well, I don't want this, clean this up. And that's crappy energy. And now I'm seeing the botanist right beside the apples. The botanist was all about parenthood and legacy. Give me one clarifier on that, and that would be with Mother Mary. Joy. Okay, so I just see that as like lots of siblings and family and things like that. And what I got was like, when you look at all of them, they all look the same. But there's like different ages, and they're just like different dress codes and things like that within it. And so that's what I get is like, I don't know, I just keep seeing like the parents telling you like your role. Like, you're the oldest, so you got to be the responsible one. You're the middle child, and so you got to focus on this. Or you're the youngest, so, whatever the roles are. And it's just saying, at the end of the day, you're the one in control of your soul. What's the truth that can benefit everyone, so that everyone could have this joy and sing together. And those songs I'm hearing are Star and the song Start a War. Is there anything else, Spirit? They keep showing me a golden ring, and I have no clue. But as I looked at this, okay, they keep showing me, I saw a physical golden ring, but the only thing that I see on these cards that would be golden ring is the halos. And there's one with the baby, and that baby is like bringing me to the parenthood. I feel like, especially in Joan's case, they said like a maiden would come and save France. It's almost like a prophecy from a very young age. It's like, I don't feel like a legit prophecy is in this, even though the word keeps kind of coming up. But it's like, since you were a young age, that you were meant for so much more. And I feel like that's the energy that's kind of like awakening. That it's like, you've been that peasant farmer, as Joan of Arc was for so long, that now it's like waking up. And I don't know, it's just like, I feel like Mother Mary, like all of these have babies. Actually, now that I see it, there's a baby, there's a baby, there's a baby. I feel like you've been very, very guided by Mother Mary on this journey. What do you want to share, Mother Mary? they showed me Stonehenge, or she showed me Stonehenge, and that makes no freaking sense. Or not so much Stonehenge, but I saw this like really long statue, and its face was just like, it almost looked like those Easter Island statues. And so is that Easter Island that I really saw? Maybe. I'm not feeling positive on that, but it's almost like those really long square ones, and there's a face on it. But with like Easter Island, what's really weird about that is like the bodies are like buried in the earth, like they're even farther than the heads. So I pulled up one, and it's giving and receiving. Because I was like, what's up with these baby things? I keep seeing the Easter Island thing, as above, so below kind of thing. And this one's saying giving and receiving. I balance being generous and receptive because both are equally important. Which goes with this merchant. We need them both to be balanced. You can't just take, and you also can't give till you have nothing to give. And so I think when these scales do come unbalanced, that's when this Joan of Arc kind of energy comes through. And I feel like you knew that this moment was coming from like a baby. You just always felt like you were around and that there was more, that you were supposed to stand up for something. And whatever it is that you're going to stand up for is going to bring a lot more joy to the collective. So stay curious, keep looking around and seeing how can you help someone make their day a little bit easier. And as they say, we don't want the giving and balancing has to be equal. So I just don't go out there and be like, how can I fix things, and then like force things on people. From this, I get it's something like in your environment that something's trying to come into your environment. It's more like protection of you standing up for something, is the energy that kind of came through. I really feel like there's still something I'm missing, but it's not coming through. And I feel like that this is like something that's actually going to come out in the next couple weeks. I feel like it's just only going to be like little chunk, like how the dolphin messages were. Because I don't feel pressure from this. Like, she had a very big calling, right? I have steel-like faith in myself. The angels armor me with conviction. That conviction is truth. But like, as it said, I never meant to start a war. I feel like whatever it is, by you standing up and being like self-respect, I honor and love myself through my helpful actions, because you have integrity and because you know what's true for you. That's what I see like will start this conflict. And it's like, I feel like people come to you all the time and they're like, I need this, do this for me, give me taxes, do whatever. And you're just like, okay. And it was kind of depleting you. And so now as you started to learn to receive, because that's been the messages lately, like you've got to learn to receive, I see balance. And so now when things are balanced and everything's like calm and happy, I almost see that like coming around again, and you being like, not this time. Like, this ain't fair. And so that's where that warrior of light energy, steel-like faith, because in this, truth is subjective. The people coming in believe that what they're fighting for is truthful, but if you are in alignment with your star, with higher source, with Mother Mary, God, whatever you want to call it, whoever your energies are, I feel like that's I wanted to say, like, when you have faith and belief in those kind of things on your side, it's usually has a little bit more spark of truth. But there's so many wars that have been fought because of religion, because of people believing that what they're fighting for is the almighty righteous thing. So I don't know, I feel like there's gray area in that. But the main thing of this is the benefit of many, freeing many souls, having everyone be joyful and happy, not taking at the risk of many, not trying to control and confine others. And I feel like they're telling me to wrap it all up on this one. The Thelkla, the prophetess of true power. So as a baby, you already had like Mother Mary around you all the time. That's what I get. She like loved you so much. She loved you as an adult, loves you, but when you were a baby, it's like you were spirit, so you had more connection with her. As you got older, you were like, I don't need my parents. And so she was in the background, right? Just watching the rose bloom. And so this one says true power. Now that you're an adult, I feel like the body and the energy can contain even more. So it's like you're waking up, right? That light codes things. I feel that spark, that star. And it says, I call my power back from all times and all places. I am my own. I make my decisions. Nobody traps me. Nobody confines me and tells me that I'm less than, that I'm just a peasant, because you're not. You're a very badass, magical, light worker being, if you like it or not. So, might as well be that. So we'll leave it there. Have a good day, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.